Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings. Welcome to this week of the Nintendo Shack podcast. Pokemon Presents and the Switch Pro lives on.
It does.
March 2022, and I swore that I would stop saying the word Switch Pro for this entire year.
Right.
Here we are.
Just one more announcement and everyone sparks up. It's amazing.
I can't
The internet's
escape
amazing.
it. And this
Pretty
time
much.
I'm a believer, so we'll talk about it. Garrett, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Today was a little bit of a whirlwind at work. I came home and I slept for a long time, and I had like a moment where I woke up and I thought, oh my god, we're about to start recording. It was like right before 8:30, our old time before you moved.
Our old time,
and I'm
yeah.
like, oh my god, I gotta go get ready. I haven't finished the notes. I might have a bedhead right now. It was bad. And then I realized, oh wait, Garrett's a West Coast person now. I have another hour.
you got that nice time gap there. Man, after work naps really hits different. It just just hit on the couch and
it was on the couch. I was in a deep sleep.
No joke.
It was one of those naps. Sometimes what have you been up to this week?
So I have been playing more Pokemon Legends.
Oh, good.
Quite a bit. I am almost done with the main story of that game, and I really, really enjoy this one. I think everyone has the same impressions. I am right now getting the flying. Was it Bravia or something like that?
Braviary. Yeah.
Braviary. Yeah, that's it. I'm trying to get that Pokemon right now.
So you don't have him yet?
I'm in the middle of
You're in
getting
the middle
it.
of getting him. Okay.
Yeah.
When you do get him, I'm curious to know what you think of the flying controls, because what it looks like and what it feels like to me is a lot different. I have a hard time. You can't really go up and down, I think, as easy as you want to. It's more of like gliding, which I kind of expected it to be a little bit different. But I think it makes it, I guess, reasonable for it's not like overpowered, like where you can go literally
Gotcha. So
anywhere.
you can't like go from the ground and just like fly up
unless I'm like totally missing the mechanic about how to fly and like I'm just bad at it. Like I don't know, it's a little tedious, but it's cool. You can definitely move around a lot faster because of it.
Nice. Oh no, I love getting all the new Pokemon to go up cliffs and run around everywhere. It makes it very mobile. And I'm glad that they do that by like gearing towards the end of the game. All right, now you can like kind of expand in the other areas and look everywhere. It's kind of cool. And I got some new Pokemon each time I go out into an excursion. Get new Pokemon. I wish there was more of a mainline way to get experience. I feel like I kind of need to like go to previous islands and like I was like, all right, I guess I just need to catch new Pokemon. I gotta just battle more, and like the request doesn't really earn you that much. Only specific ones do. They give you cool items, but like for the most part, like 80% of it, it's like just common rewards or common items, and I'm just like, I don't really care about those as much.
You're right, and that's something that I talked about in my review. I can't remember if I talked about it here, is that I felt like the side quests were not even really worth doing too much. A lot of the times they're very fetch quests, and you're right, the rewards, some of them are good, but most of them, at least the ones that I had been doing, were like you do all this stuff, you go catch these Pokemon, you go do whatever they need you to do, and they give you like a couple berries or like some extra Pokeballs or like something that I didn't really need. So I didn't go out of my way to do a whole lot of them. But going back to the ride Pokemon that you were talking about, I feel like the ride Pokemon were unlocked at a very good rate. It did encourage me to go back and explore the other areas,
Mm-hmm.
climbing the cliffs that I couldn't reach before, swimming across a lake that I couldn't go to before. But you're right, I felt like I had to grind a lot between a lot of the levels,
Mm-hmm.
especially, the second half, because I did do a lot of capturing. I didn't do a whole lot of
Mm-hmm.
battling unless I had to. And I wonder if like there were Pokemon trainers scattered throughout each region, if I would have been more motivated to fight more and
Okay.
gain experience that way. I understand why
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't because, it's like an ancient time. There's not a lot of Pokemon trainers yet.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. There should have been maybe a better way to get experience because I was kind of are you talking
I was
about
struggling a little
the
bit.
research experience or the
Yeah, the research
yeah,
points. Yeah,
where you're
for
just
sure.
this is like catching Pokemon to do it.
Catching Pokemon, and then like
Yeah.
you battle Pokemon in order to get more stuff out of your own Pokemon as well, and then like
Mhm.
evolve Pokemon and stuff like that. It just seems like it was very scattered shot, and it's just
Yeah.
like, okay,
I
I guess I'll
agree.
do this, and that. Okay, let me go back to the professor. Okay, only got like 120 points this time
Yeah.
around. Okay,
I
let me
felt
go
that way
back
too.
out and try
Yeah.
try to get more, especially on the last part where I'm getting the fifth star or whatever
Mhm.
and trying to get to the Iceland. Like I had to go probably at least 5 or 6 times out, just to
Yeah.
see what different areas there are and what different Pokemon I can get. But overall, I am fine. I'm fine going out on excursions because it's fun. It's
Yeah.
like it's a fun experience to go through. I can't wait to go through the game and finish it out. And I think I'll do a lot of post game stuff as well. I think I'm going to keep at it, see if I
Yep.
can get some legendary Pokemon. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
I think I definitely prefer that game loop rather than battling like a Geodude 500 times to like level up my
Right.
Pokemon to fight a gym leader. Like the excursions are a much better experience to me.
For sure. And even like grinding seems a little bit easier just because you can
Yeah.
be in the middle of like a
So
bunch of
fast.
strong Pokemon and
Yeah.
like you can like really make sure you have an advantage and have super effective of your
Mhm.
Pokemon. And it's like I'm facing Pokemon maybe like sometimes 5 or 10 levels higher. And I'm like, all right, let's see if I can get through this. And once I beat that Pokemon, though, it's like a ton of experience points. So
Mhm. Yeah.
it's a it's a
Definitely.
it's a good reward system there, so
Yeah.
very enjoying it, yeah.
Good.
And then I wrapped up Guardians of the Galaxy. I Nothing much else to say. It's super fun. I love the ending. It's such a Guardians of the Galaxy game. I absolutely love the ending of it. Very comedic, very lighthearted, very it's just like all that type of stuff.
Oh,
It's
good.
really fun. If they do a sequel, just improve the gameplay and they don't need to change the writing. They don't need to change the characters or the story. It's top notch, but the gameplay, I think they can probably introduce a lot more like fluidity to its
Mhm.
action combat and just like put a little bit more systems in there. It just felt very surface level. At least with like the moment to moment combat, it was just mashing buttons, which it's fine. It's fine for the game, but I
Mhm.
think they could do a lot more in a sequel.
Is there
So
gonna
yeah,
be a sequel? Has there been any talks of that yet?
I'm not too sure just because Square said, "Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy game is below our expectations, so it's coming to Game
Uh,
Pass." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, you didn't really advertise it that much.
yeah.
And it's a good game. Like if someone
Mhm.
was into the Marvel movies, let's say, and they're not much of a gamer, I would entirely like recommend this game to them if they're
Oh,
a
okay.
Marvel fan because I think it's easy enough where they can just mash buttons, get into it, and the characters are just hilarious and the story is so good.
Yeah, you
Um,
said I remember you talking about the writing, how it's so funny
mhm.
and charming.
Yeah, yeah. So definitely recommend it to someone who is a big Marvel fan. And they don't even have to be a hardcore gamer at all. Maybe play a game here and there. I think they'll be just fine going through this game. But yeah, I've been going through those games. What about you, Rebecca? What's going on with your
Well,
gaming log?
I had my big 1-year Twitch partnership anniversary stream on Saturday.
Yay!
It was my 11-hour stream I had talked about last week. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh. The time actually flew by. I had never done a stream that long before, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I overplanned. There was stuff that I wanted to do that I didn't end up doing. So it was really fun though. Um, would recommend
Nice.
pushing yourself to do a long stream like that sometime, just very occasionally. It was very fun.
I'm sure.
But other than that, I haven't really been doing a whole lot of gaming. I feel like, I'm still kind of deciding, like, I'm in that middle, of what, the big releases. What am I trying to play in the meantime? I'm still slowly making my way through Zelda 2. I think that's probably the thing that I'm going to be slowly chipping away at until, like, Kirby releases probably. Later this month. I finished the second palace thanks to help from my Twitch chat.
Nice.
Man, that game it's already hard, and people keep telling me that it's gonna get harder, and I believe it. And I'm still using rewinds. I'm still using save states, but maybe it's too early to say this, but I am, like, enjoying it. Like, besides the difficulty of it, I think it's a pretty cool game. I think that the level design is cool. The overall design is cool. It's definitely archaic in a lot of ways, but I think I can appreciate it so far. We'll see if I keep thinking that.
So is it still like front view all the time in the dungeons and palaces as well?
Yeah. The dungeons and palaces,
cool.
just the overworld is kind of that top down as you go around the
Got
world.
it.
And then when you get into, like, a fight or a town or a I guess, like, a dungeon palace, it's the
It's a front view. And does it have, like, stairs going up and down these dungeons and
There's,
obstacles?
like,
And
sort of. So the palaces that I've been in so far have, like, elevators to go down. Like, you can control them to go up and down. So, like, it kind of takes you up a screen or down a screen instead of, like, left or right. So it's kind of like stairs. Yeah, I think there's been stairs. So
Okay. I was just curious because
yeah.
I should probably look at one of your streams sometime, see what this game looks like. Because when I saw
Yeah.
it for the first time in your stream, I'm like, I mean, that doesn't
It
look
doesn't
like a
look like
Zelda
a
game
Zelda
to
game
me.
at all. No. If it, like, was any other sprite besides Link, like, you would not know. Even the enemies don't even look like
I
Zelda
would guess
enemies.
Castlevania, to be
Yeah,
honest
it
with you.
does. It does have a lot of Castlevania vibes for sure. Yeah, and
hmm
the way the items work, like, you have your sword, and, like, that's it.
Oh, okay.
And you just get different abilities. Like, you get magic instead of weapons.
Okay.
So, like, your
Sounds good.
shield is magic instead of
Interesting.
like,
The
it's like
actual
it's
shield,
like
the
a
Hylian
defense
shield.
thing. Yeah, it's like a defense buff for you.
Cool.
So it's
Sounds
interesting. It's
good.
definitely challenging all of what I thought I knew about Zelda. But I'm getting help, and I'm taking it slow, and I'm
Nice.
letting it be forgiving for me. But
Well, at least you're going through it. One of
yeah.
the major
Yeah.
Zelda games for sure. Cool.
But yeah, I won't go on for too much about Zelda 2. I think probably I will talk more about it after I beat it. I won't, like, keep talking about, I finished another
Cool.
palace every single week, so I'll let you know when I finished it.
Nice.
But I know that people want us to talk about the Pokemon Presents, specifically what was
Definitely.
announced at the end of it. We had quite a bit of news this past week. We knew that the Pokemon Presents was coming up. It was interesting because at first only the Japanese Pokemon account announced it and was tweeting about it.
Okay.
And the Western Twitter accounts, like the American Twitter account, didn't say anything until 30 minutes before. I know a lot of people were getting worried about, like, is
Wow.
this going to be a Japanese only presentation? Like, why are
Mhm.
they saying anything? And they only said something 30 minutes before. They later came out and said, I think in an interview, that they are being respectful to,
Mhm.
I guess, the events of the world that are going on right now,
Yeah.
particularly, with Ukraine, and saying, that they didn't want to, I guess, be flaunting, this marketing, and that there's a presentation, and not really, I guess, taking spotlight off of those more important things.
Mhm. Mhm.
But this was something, obviously, that was planned, months in advance. So the show had to go on. We did get the Pokemon Presents. There was a lot of stuff about the spin-off games that already exist. Like Pokemon Unite is getting a new fighter. Pokemon Cafe Remix is getting some updates. Pokemon Go
They had
is
to go through
getting
the
Gen 7
checklist.
Pokemon. Yeah, all those side games that we know and love. They had a little update to Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, where you can go in now and redeem
Mhm.
Oak's Letter and have a Shaman event. That's live right now if you want to go get
Super cute
Shaman.
Pokemon. I love
Yeah, he's
Shaman.
so cute. He's so cute. And this, I think, was an event that was in the original Diamond and Pearl. So it's kind of a throwback to that. And I think it's limited. I forget what date they said this is until. I think it might be through March. So I think it's through March 27th. So if you want Shaman and you want to go experience that event, it's free. Just update your game.
Go for it.
Go get Oak's letter and the mystery gift.
I
And
remember
then
doing
there's
the old event, the
you did.
previous,
Oh
yeah, on
yeah.
Diamond and Pearl. I got Shaman through that. Was it like at a GameStop or something? I
I
completely
think so.
forget.
I remember back
Yeah.
then, like you had to go there. It was harder back then to do these
It was
events.
a download play type of deal where you had to go
Yeah,
to a local GameStop or whatever and
I think you're
download
right.
it and then do the event like that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
because it was on your DS. You're right.
hmm
And then there's an update to Pokemon Legends Arceus version 1.1, something like that, where
hmm
they added so that you can do a couple more things. There's special types of swarms that you can
hmm
encounter. It's kind of like a little side mission type of thing. It doesn't add like any huge story elements, but you can also battle some trainers. It's like a nice little update. It gives you a little bit more to do if you're finished with all of the main story and the post game
hmm
stuff, and you really like grinding for those shinies in the swarms. It helps out with that. The big thing that they announced that I know that we talked about whether this was going to be
Right.
likely or not, and we talked about, well, we hope so, but it's kind of early. We're not going to count on it. It doesn't seem likely. The trailer started off, it was a live action trailer. It was like of a police
hmm
officer searching through a dark room. I don't know about you, Garrett, but when I saw this, I'm like, oh wow, look, Detective Pikachu 2.
I think
That was
everyone
my
thought
first
that.
thought. I don't know if that's what they were supposed to, if that was what they
hmm
wanted us to think, but there was no doubt in my mind. And then they even showed like they transitioned to the gameplay, and I'm like, wow, like that Pokemon Pikachu, is it Pokemon Detective? I'm like, wow,
hmm
that looks a lot like a main series game. Like, what an odd art style choice they're going for this spin-off game. And it wasn't
They just led
until
you on.
they led me on. I was fooled for I think longer than probably most people were. I think most people got it before I did. I didn't know, excuse me, what it was until they showed the player character running up
hmm
to your house, which I
Yeah.
guess it was your house, and like going through the house. I'm like, wait, that's not Pokemon Detective.
No, it's
Um,
not.
I'm sorry. Why am I saying Pokemon Detective? Is it Detective
Detective
Pikachu?
Pikachu.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
sorry. But I'm like, oh my god, like, is this a new main series game? Yes, it is. They announced Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, the 9th generation of Pokemon, releasing this year in late
Can't believe
2022.
it.
I
Yeah.
can't believe it either, and it takes on the art style. It visually resembles Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's not exactly the same. I know there was a lot
hmm
of discourse about the character, like the trainer models, and how they look a little bit different. But overall, I think that the visuals did resemble a lot more of Pokemon Legends than Pokemon Sword and Shield. It looks like a pretty good upgrade to me from Sword and Shield.
Yes. Definitely agree. Yeah.
The region is based in Spain. It seemed pretty evident throughout the
hmm
trailer. There was some more confirmation about that later. Your character looks like a school kid wearing a uniform that either has an orange emblem, if you're playing Pokemon Scarlet, or a grapes emblem in Pokemon Violet. So that could maybe have
Mm.
something to do with the story. They say for the first time, depending on the version that you pick, you start with a different outfit, and there may be some differences. More than I think what you're seeing in a typical Pokemon game. And then I think the big thing that really captured everyone's attention the most was the 3 starter Pokemon were introduced. So we've got Sprigatito, the grass type cat.
I love it.
Fuecoco, a fire type crocodile, and Quaxley, a water type duck. Garrett, I need to know, which team are
Yeah.
you on?
I think everyone knows my answer. It was on Twitter. I think everyone chose like different types of Pokemon. Mine is definitely Sprigatito.
Yes,
Like
Team Sprigatito. I love
very
him so much.
very cute. Hopefully it stays on all fours throughout the evolution,
Stay on all
please.
fours.
We don't need weird 2 feet animoids type of thing.
Oh my
Yeah, no,
god.
I really enjoy kind of the fresh or not fresh look, but like I love the designs of these. Very cute. Of course, they're beginning evolutions. I'm very curious about
Yeah.
their later evolutions. Twitter took these starters, man, oh man,
I think
so
that these are
much
very
fan art.
popular. I think that
Hmm.
these are pretty popular starters. I don't really see a whole lot of hate for any of them the way that we do for, I think, previous generations. There was at
Right.
least like one that like a lot of people hated. I actually ran a Twitter poll and it was pretty evenly split between these three.
Nice.
I think Flay Coco is my second favorite. I'm not as fond of Quaxley,
Hmm.
but I don't dislike him at all. I think he looks cool. But Sprigatito, man, I love cats, and I think that it might turn into a grass fairy type, which I think would be really awesome.
Oh,
I
that would be
really want to see
legit.
what that
Yeah.
design is, and you're right. Stay on all fours, please.
Yes,
But you're
Grass
right.
and Fairy would be very cool. Fue Coco was fine. It just reminds me a lot of like Crocodile or Crocodile and like Totodile and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, it does.
I'm not a big fan of the alligator crocodile Pokemon as much. And then Quaxley, like, come on, I know everyone's thinking of it. It's the hair. The hair
It's the
is just
hair.
like
It's so
it's
silly.
stylish. It's so
Yeah.
silly. And then of course people compare it to a lot of different things, including one person. So um
Uh-huh.
but anyways, all of them really cool design.
They
I
are.
very much enjoy them.
This
Yeah.
yeah, this does give me some hope. I went back and I looked very closely throughout the trailer to see, like, if you could spot any secrets, any other new Pokemon.
Hmm.
Of course, they didn't have anything like that you couldn't see. It was filled with,
Hmm.
regular, Pokemon that we already know, but it was interesting because, Pokemon, I think they came out on Twitter a little bit later after the presentation and said this is going to be an open world game. So they did confirm
Cool.
right off the bat this is going to be open world. In the press release, they stated how it is. They didn't say the mechanics were going to be like Pokemon Legends
Hmm.
Arceus. There's not really any word yet, but we did see the Pokemon out in the overworld, so hopefully that means some
Hmm.
mechanics are present. Not sure yet though, but they did say it's an open world with no borders, no like transition screens that you can like just walk across the whole thing from town to town. No borders, or I think they called it like partitions or something like that, which I
That's
think
kind of
is
crazy.
an awesome sign. I think
Yeah.
it's an awesome sign.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really wonder what's the definition of their open world. They gotta have like even Pokemon Legends Arceus has areas, right? It's
Right.
like you go out on an excursion and it's just it's big, but it's still one area. It's not. I mean, you can say it's open world, kind of like, but it's more big area,
I think we
kind of
all
thing.
called it open world when it was shown. I don't
Yeah.
know if they ever called it open world, but it seems to me, and I feel like this is what we said the best case scenario was when we were talking about it last week, how it seems like it's going to be each of the regions that we got in Pokemon Legends Arceus all
Hmm.
connected. You don't need to like go back to the home base in the village and then go to the next region. Like if you wanted to go from
Ooh.
the swamp to the forest, you just keep walking to get there. And then
Hmm.
if you want to go to the beach after that, you don't need to go back to the village or a town to do that. You just keep
Hmm.
going throughout the routes, which I think is the best case scenario.
Yeah, I wonder how it's gonna run then. I really wonder because like we did see some gameplay and it looks visually like Legends Arceus. I was like, okay, definitely
Yeah,
based on that
nothing
engine.
groundbreaking, but I think it's
Not yeah,
pretty. There's nothing like wrong with
yeah.
it, but you're right. That we
That's
did see
huge.
some issues in Pokemon Legends Arceus with like Poppin and I don't
Hmm.
know. It wasn't without issues, and I don't know how much of that they can fix. I think it's important to know. I know people are kind of going like crazy about how, we just had Legends Arceus. Like, this is insane. How are they able to put out another game so fast? They should wait.
Hmm.
We have to remember that Legends Arceus was supposed to be a 2021 game. It wasn't ever really supposed
That's
to
true.
release in 2022. So, really, there would be a whole year in between these. I think so. This is not something they have just been starting to work on. This is something that's been in development for a long time. And I
Yeah,
almost feel
for
like
sure.
Legends is not even like a tech demo, but kind of like easing us into what this bigger game is going to be.
Hmm.
If it is similar mechanics wise, that they were kind of prepping us so that maybe it wouldn't be like this huge change for us.
Hmm.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested about the character. Everyone was complaining about how the characters look. I think they look kind
I
of
don't know
cool.
why.
They look like the characters from Pokemon Snap. I think they have like more
Right.
definition in their face. I think they look
Yeah.
cool. I
They
don't
look fine to me.
I
Like
don't
I mean,
I don't
people
love
really
them, I don't
go
hate
into
them.
image to image, and I'm like, guys, come on, it's like a
I
character
know.
model. Like, calm down.
I'm very interested on the emblems. I know that there were some people who were really going into this on Twitter. They were like really focusing
Okay.
in. They were wearing these emblems that have the oranges, that have the grapes on them, that they might be rival schools. That
Oh, that
maybe
would be
it's
kind
like
of
a story
cool.
difference. Yeah, yeah. But then if you go back to the live action part of the trailer with the police officer, like you can see a bowl of oranges, a bowl of grapes, like all these little
Interesting.
hints in it that like people were picking this apart. It was nuts. But
Wow.
yeah, I feel like for the first time in 20, 25 years, I'm really feeling optimistic about the future of Pokemon.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know if
for
this is
sure.
just like where I am in the cycle that repeats itself, where I get excited, then I get disappointed, and maybe this is just where I'm at right now. But I was happy with Legends Arceus, and I'm excited with what they showed us so far for Scarlet and Violet.
Hmm. I'm definitely excited. It's interesting that it's so close to launch compared to Legends Arceus. There wasn't like,
Hmm.
we thought, oh, this is like a testing bed for the next game, right? And it kind of was, but they did not wait for reactions or whatever. I think they saw Legends Arceus like
Yeah,
that is it, and they kind of quickly transition to Scarlet and Violet. And I'm wondering how it's gonna do. I'm curious with this open world stuff. I'm just more curious than anything.
me too.
Um, yeah, I haven't been this excited since probably Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, for a Pokemon game in
Right.
general. Um, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll definitely pick it up.
Do you
Day
remember
one.
just a few months ago how like concerned we were about Pokemon Legends
Yeah,
Arceus and we were like, what is this game? This is going to be either amazing or like a dumpster fire. And like I really thought that we were going to be on the side of this is a dumpster fire. What is Game Freak doing? But we're kind of on the other side. Like I wouldn't say this is like the greatest thing ever, but like it's definitely leaning into positive territory. So I'm happy
for
with that.
sure. And I'm wondering, Gen 9, are they putting more Pokemon? Like,
They must be if
man,
these are 3 new starters. We're gonna get some new Pokemon. I don't know if it'll
yes.
be ton, but definitely some.
I feel like they've been doing that for the past few gens, though. They've been
Yeah.
kind of doing half and half, half like from previous Pokemon, half kind of new Pokemon. And here's the starters, here's some legendaries. But man, that's just quite a surprise. We really thought it was gonna be Let's Go Johto. We were
I
really
really did.
confident.
I
I thought
know.
last year was Let's Go Johto, but then
Yeah.
Legends Arceus came around, and so I'm wondering if they'll ever tap back to the Let's Go series.
I don't know. I
It
mean,
may have been
Pokemon
like
Go
a
is still going strong. They're still pumping
yeah.
out the updates for that. So like and it's still popular. So maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Uh,
Definitely not this year.
mhm.
I mean, I don't know about next year either. Like they'll get another remake possibly behind them, but Let's Go Johto could be next year. And maybe I'll have some more Legends Arceus type of formula in there. Legends Arceus is kind of a pivot point for them, I think now, more than ever with these
Yeah.
Pokemon games.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I think you're right, and then I'm trying to think back, like, I know we shouldn't be trying to look for patterns, but I know that after the year after Sword and Shield, I think even then we were saying, "Oh, they're gonna come out with Let's Go Johto in between Sword and
mhm,
Shield and Gen 9," and they didn't. They came out with DLC, they came out with the expansion pass for Sword and
mhm,
Shield. So maybe instead of Let's Go Johto, maybe we'll even get an expansion pass and DLC for Gen 9. Crazy that we're thinking
possibly.
that far ahead, but I'm hopeful. I like what I
Very
see.
helpful.
I'm getting Pokemon Scarlet. I'm picking Sprigatito, and if he stands up on to 2 legs, I will never evolve him.
You just oval stone it and like just
This is
never go.
Litten. This is Litten all over. I love Litten. I picked Litten, and
Hmm.
I hate Incineroar because he looks like Tony the Tiger, and I never evolved
Right.
him. And I never evolved my Fennekin either because of Delphox. So I will keep my Sprigatito the entire game as a Sprigatito. I
I
think it's
can
the most
imagine being a
Spanish generic.
majestic green fairy
Yes.
animoid
With
type of thing. Yeah.
flowers and yes, please, please, please. I'm practicing my Spanish. As soon as these names were announced, I hopped on Discord with a lot of my Spanish-speaking friends and
Nice.
Discord community here, and they were coaching me. Sprigatito, good.
Yeah,
Fue
Spigadito.
Coco, Fue Coco.
Fue
Finally got
Coco.
that one
Yeah.
down, and then Quaxley is like not Spanish. He's the exchange student. He's good.
Oh, he's the exchange. Oh, yeah, of course he's the
Quaxley, that
exchange
doesn't
student.
sound Spanish. It's just
No.
Quaxley. But yes, I'm gonna learn Spanish for this game.
Nice. Sounds good. I'm very I don't know which version to go for. I don't think I really it doesn't really matter each way each time. I guess I just look at the cover. I actually when I actually got this leaked to me when I woke up, YouTube kind of sucks because when you
Really?
like even without not going into Twitter or anything, I
Oh,
just put youtube.com and the first
yeah.
thing
Oh,
is
because
the
this was like 6 a.m.
Pokemon.
for you, wasn't it? So
Right.
so yeah.
I woke up later and then like I put
Mm.
youtube.com and of course Pokemon homepage is
Based
like
on your viewing
Pokemon.
habits, because you watched a Pokemon video one time in your life, so of course the first
Yeah.
thing that pops up is like people posting thumbnails of these starters, I'm sure.
It was the Pokemon channel itself. And it was like Scarlet and Violet, like right
Oh,
there. I'm like, of course you did that to me. Okay, let me
oh
go
my
to the Pokemon
gosh,
present.
that's so annoying. So you didn't even get to experience that, "Oh, it's Pokemon Pikachu, Detective Pikachu," whatever the heck that game is
Yeah,
called.
when I was saying it, I'm like, why is this guy like in this room? It's like it's very Detective Pikachu vibe, but I know it's the new Pokemon games. Like
What a
so weird.
bummer. You didn't get to
Mhm.
experience that surprise. Oh,
Right.
that's okay. Um,
But
the worst part about this is it's March, and this game probably won't come out until November, right?
you
Late
know.
2022. It's usually that end of November time slot. We're going to be waiting a long time to find out these evolutions,
Hmm.
everything about this. It's going to be a long year of waiting. But you know
Hmm.
what? 2022 is like, we were calling it stacked
Jam
before
packed.
this. Holy crap.
Fall's
Holy
done.
crap.
Fall is basically done with Pokemon in there. I think Nintendo. I mean, what else we got? We got Bayonetta 3. What else we got at the end there? We don't have
I mean,
Mario
nothing
Kart
has
DLC,
release
do we?
dates. There's going to be Mario Kart DLC throughout the year, this year, and
Okay.
next year. So I'm sure there will be.
Hmm.
Uh,
I'm sure there's
a lot of stuff
one.
doesn't have release dates. There's the
Mhm.
Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, or whatever the new one
Yeah,
is
that could be
called.
an August or September game. I'm
Mhm.
feeling it's gonna be around there. Bayonetta 3 is that around
Fire
that
Emblem. When's
months.
Fire Emblem Three Houses Warriors coming out?
I don't know. I would have to check again. I
Is that
thought it was a
summer?
September date or
Okay.
or, or summer. I would. Oh,
Splatoon 3 is
Xenoblade Chronicles
coming.
3. Thank you so much. Oh my
Xenoblade.
gosh. Yeah. No,
There's a
it's stacked.
lot of stuff coming out.
One person says Breath of the Wild. Yeah. No. Not after that release. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
I mean, I still think it's possible, yes, because there has been Pokemon games releasing in the same month as Zelda games. But I would bet money that it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Real question is who's going to get it on the Fantasy Critic League? This Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
I don't
I
know,
don't
Garrett. Are you
know.
bidding money on it?
I am bidding all 60. How many dollars do I have? $61? I don't even know.
Bid it all.
I bet it all.
Did
You
you
heard it right
really?
here, folks. No, I'm just
No.
kidding. No.
Tell me how much you're bidding so I can bid more than you.
Exactly. Yarden, I bid all my money. That's what I did.
You just want
I'm
to you
I'm
want
trying to
to
trick people.
drain Yarden of all of his money.
Exactly.
It's good
Yeah,
stuff.
no, it's good. Actually, this year Fantasy Critic is pretty hardcore, and much more hardcore than last
Very
year.
competitive this year.
Very, very competitive this year, especially with like once a major release comes out, it's like, okay, any one of us can
I
put a
bid
lot of
$10
money in it.
on Live Alive, thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the only one betting on this. I think it went for like $50.
Josh got it for
Gosh,
$50. I'm
oh my
like,
god, I was
okay.
like totally underestimating that.
I put it for 20, and of course Yarden put it for 21. And
Yeah, so
so
I was the lowest. I
yeah.
put 10 thinking, oh yeah, no one else is gonna go for this.
This Fantasy Critic stuff. Whew, we'll see how it goes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Do you want to take the next story, Garrett? There was
Sure.
some more news. Moving on from the Pokemon, this was our next big story.
Switch Pro rumors still live, still alive. There's NVIDIA leaked some Switch DLSS, basically a Twitter user and data miner called Nikki, also at NW Player 123. Kind of had some screenshots of an API name dedicated to the Switch Pro called NVN2, and also, and I quote, based on Ampere with ray tracing support and DLSS 2.2.
So for everyone who's like me, do you
Yes.
want to put that into English?
Basically, this just reaffirms that the Switch Pro kind of API exists. Like the design, the chip itself, the GPU or the APU or whatever you want to call it itself, the mobile chips, they're real. The design is real. It's not like they're in production or Nintendo's going to market it or
this isn't
anything.
some, Bloomberg article. This isn't some person on Twitter. This is an actual NVIDIA leak. Nintendo's probably fuming at this point in time that this happened, because this is a legitimate thing. Like, this is something not even I, the denier, can like say, yo, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, this is real.
Yeah, the picture's there, the design's there, the whole architecture of the Switch Pro chip is there. But yeah, that doesn't, I mean, we kind of know a Switch Pro exists, even if they call it a Switch 2 or whatever. That next generation of Switch design exists.
I mean,
somewhere.
We knew that was going to happen at some point anyway, right? They keep saying that the Switch is halfway through its life cycle, yada, yada, yada. Whether this is still in that Switch family or it's a total revision of a next console. Like, we know that they're working on something.
Yeah, so I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. I mean, like, even this year, next year, I doubt Nintendo really wants to even mess with their sales, but also just mess with the manufacturing. And I'm sure we talked about or discussed about previously about materials and making them. I'm just saying right now, it's been still pretty hard for chip shortage, for manufacturing practices with chips, and also just what the world's going through right now. It's just not really feasible. It's like even computer parts are going to get more expensive from now on.
Everything's going to get more expensive.
So I just don't think Nintendo's like really wanting to jump the gun on the next system if their OLED model is still selling like hotcakes and their games are selling like hotcakes. So
they're doing well. They're still breaking records. They're pushing the OLED. I know that the OLED sales are doing really well. So even this exists. They're working on it. That doesn't mean we're ever going to hear about it this year.
So yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, Switch Pro API GPU exists, and it sounds really cool, of course. All that stuff, fancy stuff I said. It's just, imagine this thing's gonna be way more capable. I wouldn't say on the level as, like, let's say, of the Steam Deck, but with DLSS, like, graphically, it maybe certain games, if they're optimized okay, it's gonna run pretty similarly. But yeah, it's I can't wait for it.
Is this something that can still be implemented into a hybrid model with handheld and console TV?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, because even the Steam Deck is a hybrid. All you really need to do is a USB-C port, display port. That's all you really need now to put it into a monitor or TV screen, and then you have a Bluetooth controller. That's all what the Switch is too. It's just literally docking it, and then it'll output a display onto anything. So, yeah,
good,
pretty much.
Because that's important to me. Maybe we'll keep talking about the Switch Pro in the coming weeks, months. Who knows? But
I want to stop now.
We got Rebecca to say the P word in March. It's March 3rd. We got me to say it.
Congratulations.
I lose, but we all win because it's going to be cool.
It's going to be really cool.
They released a 5-minute overview trailer for Kirby and the Forgotten Land and kind of stealth dropped a demo that's out now. The trailer, it was pretty lengthy. They showed off a lot of what we had already known, but they go more in depth into it. It shows off a lot of the copy abilities, new and old. They show mouthful mode and what you can do with that. A lot of other things. They showed off co-op. They showed off some like sub games. They showed off the Waddle Dee Town and all the cool things you can do there. One thing that I don't know if this is like a thing in other Kirby games because I'm not really too savvy with Kirby, but they show these things called blueprints. They can be used to evolve copy abilities and make them even more powerful. I thought that part was pretty cool. But yeah, the demo's out now. Garrett, you've played it?
I did. It's fun. It's very fun.
Tell us about it.
It is. Well, it's. I think it's. I imagine it more as like akin to 3D World than anything. It kind of gives you like a direction from one starting point to the next, very narrow, but super fun, like handling Kirby, and it's like, you know, floating around, and then of course you suck it in and grab all the powers and push it out, all the different powers. The mouthful mode was kind of weird, not gonna lie.
Weird
Weird
good or
shapes.
weird bad?
Weird. How about that?
Okay.
So because you got the cone, and the cone can do like certain things, like smash into like cracks onto like the concrete or whatever, and then explodes. And of course, you can get more stars that way or more coins or whatever. There's a lot of secret entrances everywhere. It's a very well designed, crafted levels based off of like the mouthful mode abilities, including like the car. What else did we? Oh yeah, I opened a grill to reveal like a certain collectible too. And then also the different powers. It's very much like other Kirby games. You know, you suck it in, you get like a sword ability or boomerang ability. I thought the boss was pretty neat. Overall,
Okay.
very well crafted 3D
it sounds
platformer.
it sounds like there's a lot in this demo. There's even a boss. How long would you say it took you to get through the demo?
Not even like 15 minutes. I think it's
Oh, so it's
15 to
pretty
20
short.
minutes max. Yeah,
Okay.
it's 2 levels and a boss level. And
Got
then
it.
you can go back through and repeat it and with enhanced abilities if you want
Oh,
to.
okay.
Yeah. And then the end you get codes to actually put in the full game. They'll give you extra items, but the code is same for everyone. So you can just look it up online
Got
and
it. Okay.
just get it. Yeah. So
I heard that this is more. I know that we made a lot of comparisons to Super Mario Odyssey when we originally saw this game announced. Would you say that it is
mhm.
more like Odyssey, or I saw a lot of people comparing it more to Mario 3D Land World, whichever one of those?
Yeah, it's definitely in the Odyssey, like, you know, the regular world type of deal, like the design, the artistic style of it, very much like that. But the level design itself, very linear, very
Okay.
3D world. It is not really an open world Kirby game. It's you're going level to level, and you're figuring out different entrances, different pathways to get from point A to point B, basically.
Got it. Okay.
Um, so yeah,
Did
that's
this
pretty much
demo
it.
convince you to get the game more than what you were thinking before?
No, I knew I was not gonna get the game, just because I'm not the biggest Kirby fan, and I can probably just play like different other Kirby games to get satisfaction off of it. But I'm not really a day one Kirby person. But I just would, you know, like to go through the demos, try it out.
Okay.
There are definitely like Triangle Strategy, other games I would like to get first before I would ever get a Kirby game. But it was really fun, and I definitely recommend it to people who are into platformers. Like, this is a stellar platformer for sure.
I think I'm going to try the demo. I originally saw this game and I said, you know what, this is going to get me into Kirby, and it still might, but I think I want to try the demo just in case I decide it's
Yeah.
not for me because I'm not a Kirby person. I'm not a platformer person, but
Mhm.
I like the 3D Mario, so we'll see. I'm going to try it out this weekend.
Cool. Sounds good. It won't take you more than 15 minutes. So
Yeah.
it will be pretty short and sweet.
Cool. And hopefully that's enough time to just give me that taste of whether it clicks with me or not.
Right. Right.
Another thing that Nintendo's been quiet, and I think they're doing a lot of that out of respect for all the stuff that's going on in the world right now, or maybe they just
Mhm.
didn't want to outright announce this. I don't know.
Mhm.
They quietly added missions and rewards to Nintendo Switch Online. kind of like achievements, not really. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So they added the ability to spend platinum points on new profile icons, backgrounds, and frames. Right now, there are a handful of Super Mario Odyssey icons, backgrounds, and frames that are expiring on March 5th. So if you're listening to this, you have like a day and a half to go get it. While the remainder are Animal Crossing villagers who have March birthdays. These will be available to redeem through March, and then presumably they'll be replaced with villagers who have April birthdays. They're kind of cute. They're really cheap. You probably, if you're anything like me, you probably have hundreds of these platinum points saved up just from doing random things. They all cost like 5-10 coins each. You can get a lot of them. Then they give you like daily missions if you don't have enough platinum points. They give you daily missions. Like I think one of them was boot up Super Mario Bros. On the NSO app and play it for like 2 seconds, and you get some coins for doing it. Just like daily missions to get you doing things like open the news app, play a game with online function, things like that. Pretty cool. I don't know why they're adding this now.
And it's super quiet, super random. I only knew it because of Twitter, because of hearsay.
Yeah.
No announcement, nothing. And I'm like, guys, come on. Like, this is like I wouldn't say a step in the right direction, but it's kind of inviting to do other things with Nintendo Switch Online, like themes would be great.
I would love to spend my platinum points or gold points on themes.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I'm not over the moon about icons or user profiles or whatever, but it's a pretty cool side system if you're into collecting more icons, I guess. Yeah.
I thought I would never change my icon from Mitha from Breath of the Wild. I really loved that one. But it just so happens that there's an Animal Crossing villager who's a cat that looks like my old cat named Lolly, who has the same birthday as me, the end of March. So she was available for this one. So I bought Lolly. I gave her a cute background. I gave her a cute frame. She's my icon now, and I'm never changing it. So
nice.
That's that.
There you go.
There was a data mine for Switch Sports, if you can believe it. I don't know how they did this data mine. The game's not even out yet, but it reveals that dodgeball and basketball may be added to the game at a later time. This is thanks to Wipeout Jack 7 on Twitter, who did this data mine. There's no guarantee that it'll come, but they're listed in the source, the source code as 2 games that are in it, along with all the other ones that we know exist. So it could be a future update. It could be DLC. I don't know why it's not there to begin with. This game doesn't come out soon, so I don't know.
You could probably go into Nintendo Switch Online and see an advertisement, and you can probably you can actually go and see like the web address, web API, and try to go through all that. Also, to answer someone's question in the chat, in order to get the icons and rewards, go to the Nintendo Switch Online app on the Switch itself. Yeah. That's where you're going to find all the missions and rewards straight right in front of you.
I originally went to go change my icon. It's not under that part of it, under your user settings. You have to go into Nintendo Switch Online, and then there's a tab on the left side that says missions and rewards. It's under that.
Yeah, and that's how you get there. Yeah, cool. Dodgeball, basketball. It kind of makes sense to bring back to bring to Switch Sports. I would be interested in dodgeball or something like that.
Yeah, online dodgeball. That sounds like it could be fun.
For sure.
It sounds like it'll be one of those things that gets updates over time, like Mario Golf and Mario Tennis and things like that. The Pokemon Company International broke their relative social media silence by coming out with a message saying that they donated $200,000 to global giving to provide humanitarian relief to Ukraine to support families and children affected by the crisis. I'm seeing a lot of video game companies doing this. They're coming out, they're showing their support, they're making donations. I know that the Pokemon Company has a lot of emphasis on children, especially, so it's nice to see that they are reaching out and helping in this time.
For sure. Yeah. And there's a lot of tension and arguments behind everything when you see something like this on Twitter. And of course, everyone's like, oh, it's a market ploy. Oh, it's this and that. And guys, companies are they're giving some money. Just let it be. and let them do their thing, and let them help like people that are really in need of this.
$200,000 will feed a
So
lot of kids who need food and help and aid right now.
exactly,
So it's very cool that they did that. Something they didn't have
hmm
to do.
definitely.
Um, it's March 3rd, 2022. Happy 5th birthday to the Nintendo Switch and Breath of the Wild. Wow, can you
Can't
believe
believe
that
it.
we're on year 5? It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
I feel like the Switch just came out yesterday. Like
Mhm.
that's the new system. That's the like that's Nintendo's new system. That's why I
And
feel like
yet
in my
we've come
head.
so far with it. There have been 2 Switch revisions, technically more than that if you want to count the first battery revision. There was that first battery
Sure.
revision, the Switch Lite, the Switch OLED. Most of their big franchises have games now. Some of them have more than one game now.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 5 years of a lot of cool memories. A lot of people wrote into us asking some questions. We picked the best ones that we wanted to answer.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll dive into those and share maybe some memories along the way. Pete, the smiling Stegosaurus, wants to know, do you feel a lot of the success of the Switch and its game lineup is due to teams that worked on the 3DS and console games can now all focus on the
Hmm.
Switch? I think that brings up a really good point because before it was kind of divided. We would see
Mm-hmm.
developers, who were pretty much exclusively for the handheld ones like Pokemon. I know Alpha Dream was really mostly working on handhelds for a while there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you would have the console developers. And maybe part of the reason why we're seeing such a stacked lineup in 2022 is because of stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the separate console lines, of course, I think Nintendo was feeling it that they're separating their fan base, like especially to me, because I only had a 3DS and I only played Fire Emblem and Pokemon, and I didn't even like I like Smash Brothers, but I can go to my friend's place to play Smash Brothers. I
Hmm.
already have Smash Brothers on 3DS. But I feel like Switch itself has its own success separate than just game lineups coming together, really. I feel like just the hybrid model really works. I feel like the Wii U could have been better, could have been successful, could have
Yeah.
marketed a little bit better if Nintendo spun it correctly, or they had more games to it, more better games, I would say. I know it has some great games to it, like some good Nintendo titles, but if they had some third party support, if they had a little bit more, I think the Wii U could have been better. And so I think, the Switch, its success is not solely due to the teams coming together. I think it brings a great game lineup. I think it brings like a lot of games together, but really the hybrid novelty of it, of like sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
Now let's dock it in and you can put it on the TV, or let's split the Joy Cons and let's do some party games. And yeah, just an all inclusive one system.
I do think that's an
Yeah.
attractive feature for a lot of people. And you brought up a really
Hmm.
good point how you only had a 3DS. And I
Hmm.
think that might have been the case for a lot of people. Maybe they could only get one, or they had to choose, and maybe they wouldn't be able to get both, the 3DS and a console like the Wii U.
Hmm.
So that almost makes me think, like, thinking back to the generation before that, when you had the wildly successful Wii and you had the wildly successful DS.
Great.
How many of those people could only choose between one? And imagine if that had been one system and how wildly successful it might have been. I know that
Yeah.
that's, so different, but you're right. It does kind of split that in some ways, and different audiences for different things. And with the Switch, it kind of brings those audiences together, like you said.
Hmm.
So I think, yes, the lineup, due to teams coming together and bringing more games, has a big part to do with it, but definitely not the only thing. I think it's kind of that perfect mix, that perfect storm.
I think it's that, and like just kind of now that we're very excited, everyone else is excited, and of course, especially games like Animal Crossing coming at
Well,
the right
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Think about the games that are really system sellers. Like,
Yeah.
Pokemon is a huge system seller. Animal Crossing was a huge system seller. It was before this, but especially because of New Horizons.
Hmm.
You know, then you have like those I would say are the handheld system sellers. So you've got the
Mm-hmm.
handheld crowd with those. Then you've got the console system sellers like the Mario crowd,
Mm-hmm.
the Mario Kart crowd, the Zelda crowd, and now that's all together with one. So I think there's definitely
Yeah.
something to be said there for that.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Spader wants to know, now that the Switch has been out for 5 years, what's one thing you're glad it is and one thing you wish it could be?
That's a good question. I guess more for me, I just love the handheld nature of it. I think it really, especially in this tablet wise fashion, like the way they just design the system to just slide these Joy-Cons together. I know it's not the best Joy-Con like control in the world, but it's sleek. It's just in my hand right now. I can just play it, and then I can just dock it and play it on the television. That is like really a hybrid model was a game changer. Valve is making a computer that's following that concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
That for that audience, for their PC gamers. One thing I wish it could be, I think it's just the ergonomics of the Joy Cons.
Yeah,
Um,
that was going to be
it's
mine.
Yeah, it's a little small. It's a little crushed. I don't like the split buttons here. I want a D-pad like the Switch Lite. Switch Lite alleviated that. I wish the triggers were a little bit bigger. I wish they had a full length kind of like resistance to it. Like instead of just a
Okay.
click, I want a full motion to it. And of course, handles in the back would have been great.
Yeah.
But we have alternatives. There's alternatives out there that you can definitely go grab and definitely play like really like tight precision games with it on handheld.
Okay, I think mine's a little different. The difference in ergonomics might be good. I don't have as big of a problem as that as you do, but
Mm-hmm.
I wish that the hardware in general for the Joy-Con was more durable, more reliable. I
Mm-hmm.
am one of those unfortunate people that I take good care of my controllers and my system, but I still have many issues. I've experienced the drift on more than one set of Joy-Con. The what are the rails? Is that what they're called on my Animal
Yeah.
Crossing Joy-Con? Don't click anymore. I don't have to hold
Oh
the button
no.
and they just slide up. So I pretty much can't play in handheld for certain games with these
Because
Joy-Con
yeah,
because I
that's kind
get
of
into
crazy.
it and then it slips out like as I'm playing. And I have taken good care of these and they're my special edition ones. And it makes me very upset because I can go back to some of my old systems from Nintendo. I can go back to the Wii. I can go back to my Nintendo 64 and plug it in, and
Mm-hmm.
these things still work great. And I don't feel that way for this, for some parts of the Switch. So I don't know the Nintendo hardware touch that they've had for so long. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like is not good.
Yeah. Another thing is virtual console. It doesn't exist, and I don't think Nintendo Switch Online really. It did fine, right? It's doing fine with NES and SNES, but it's not
I don't like
too
the virtual
powerful.
console model of buying a game that's that old for $7, et
I
cetera,
agree
like,
with you. Yeah.
stuff like that. I do prefer the library model that they have, but I think the selection on virtual console was way better.
Yes. No, definitely. I think we need a lot more into the subscription service in order to make it like really worth me going
What it could
into.
be, yeah.
Yeah, what it could be for sure. Yeah.
But one thing that I am glad that it is, I said it earlier, the hybrid model, I
Hmm.
that's the best part of it for me. I value that so much. I hope they stick with that forever, to be honest.
Me too. Me too.
Zell Daniel wants to know, he says, it's amazing how quickly the 5 years of the Switch has been compared to what I felt was forever during the Wii U era. That's so true. Do you feel Nintendo has drastically changed during that time? And if so, is it for better or for worse?
Changed drastically? No, they did not change drastically at all. I think that Nintendo company is the same company that's been there. I would arguably say since probably before the consoles. I feel like they always put toys first. They always put
Mhm.
entertainment first. They always put kids first. I think they did a lot better of delivering a product to people that really enjoyed. But they still have, I think 5 years ago, still have the same great first party lineup, first party type of IP. And I think now more than ever, though, with this system seller that is the Switch, I think their idea has changed with this system itself. I think they believed in the idea, but I think they believe in it now more than ever. And they're going to keep with it. And as you said, Rebecca, I hope they keep this model from like until the next idea comes in and we put brain chips into our heads or whatever for Nintendo. But yeah, I don't think Nintendo really drastically changed, but definitely the Switch, it was kind of reactionary to them with all the sales going on, and now
Mm-hmm.
that they're doing fine financially. It looks as they're keeping the same route. Um,
It
yeah.
Zell Daniel is so right. It did feel like forever during the Wii U era. There was like,
Mhm.
if you were lucky, there was like one really strong game each year that you were looking forward
Okay.
to. It did feel like it was like long waits of hoping for something that you could play. Yeah. As a company, no, they didn't drastically change, though I do wish that they had a little bit more fun nowadays that they did
Mm.
during the Wii U era. I think that despite the fact that we had a slow Wii U era, maybe
Mhm.
that was why. Maybe they had to make things more light, more carefree because there wasn't really a whole,
Right.
a very strong lineup. They were quirky during their directs. They had wacky things. It just felt like it was just like a very like a fever dream kind of like in a good way kind of excitement,
Yeah.
even though
Yeah.
it was such a slow time. Like, I don't know. I feel like nowadays, like, you would never see Doug Bowser go in a direct or do anything bizarre. Like, I kind of wish they leaned into that quirkiness from the Wii U era and
Mhm.
have him like indirects, like kind of dueling with Bowser, the villain, a little bit. Like, you don't really see that stuff anymore.
You definitely
Um,
don't see internet personalities in general from companies anymore. Like Sony
no.
kind of stopped.
And I know
You know.
that's Nintendo of America. That's not like Nintendo, the game company's fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the company itself, I don't think they've drastically changed.
No, not so much.
I kind of modified G-Man's question a little bit because it was very similar to Spader's question. So he kind of tacked on at the end here, and I wanted to lean more into this part of it. He wants to know, what are you looking forward to for the future of the Switch? They
Hmm.
do keep saying that we're halfway through the lifespan of this, and I know we've got talks of that Switch Pro happening. Well, what do you think? What would you like for the future?
The future of the Switch. Just, I think a Switch Pro sounds great. Give me like push the hardware limitations a little bit more. Personally, for me, I can muster up if it's a little bit more expensive for sure. It would be a premium product for a premium console. But I think it'll go a very long way for third party. I'm interested to see the transition from the Switch generation
Mm-hmm.
lineup and third party wise to the next generation or
Yeah.
whatever the next lineup is. I don't know what that transition is, and I don't know if Nintendo knows that or if they even really care as much. Because like there's a lot of I'm sure third party developers and studios they're trying to port into the Switch, and it's very hard. Just because how much optimization needs to go in. I mean the Switch hardware, right? We're on a literally a 6-year-old mobile processor. Like
Yeah, we are.
it's a very dated chip. And so I'm curious if they make a new one. That's like a Switch Pro. What's that transition look like with exclusive or not? It's gonna be very hard. I mean, it's gonna be hard to convince a Nintendo audience what that looks like too. You saw the new Nintendo 3DS. Remember that lineup, that new Nintendo
Oh my
exclusive lineup?
god. Ah,
It
yeah.
was it was so weird. So yeah, I'm just curious when they release this new model, what are they gonna do? Is it Switch 2? Is it completely a brand new generation? Or is it gonna be this half step where um it's gonna be like, well, it's Switch, but it's like a Switch Pro exclusive kind of thing. So you
I
can
don't
play it
want
on
that
your
route.
Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think, Rebecca, about the future of the Switch?
I don't know, but I hope that they, and this is a very like, I don't know, it's very back and forth with Nintendo. I really hope that there's some kind of backwards compatibility for whatever the future, iteration of either the Switch is or whatever their
Hmm.
next system is. I hope that we're able to kind of bring our libraries forward in some capacity. I don't ever want them to go back to discs. I hope they stick on cartridge forever. I love cartridges so much
Hmm.
more. I don't go back to the disc thing. Um I don't know. I'm looking forward to a lot of things. Like I think the future looks good for them. You're right. They seem
Hmm.
confident, in what they have here. I wouldn't mind if they just kept making the Switch better and better from here on out. Like you said, like up that hardware, push it even more, see what you can do. Like don't it is so like Nintendo to reinvent the wheel and introduce all these new gimmicks and stuff that nobody asked
Hmm.
for. I think they can still do that and innovate and experiment, but keeping like the base of, this Switch product that they have that they know works. And I hope that's what
Hmm.
they do.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm really curious how the Switch Pro is going to be marketed, and it's going to be advertised.
I
Because
think it'll
I
be bigger
yeah,
than the OLED. Like the OLED was something that they said like, okay, here's this, it's cool, but this is going to be like the new big thing.
right. And I wonder how the Nintendo audience will react. I don't think they'll go that techie at all. They're gonna have to convince them it's just a
Hmm.
newer, better system in some
Yeah.
capacity. Yeah. So
Because I feel
we'll
like
see how
the
it
the
goes.
OLED was like like here's an upgrade if you want like a Switch with better screen, better,
Hmm.
little knickknacks to it. But the Switch Pro is gonna have to be like, well, this is why everybody should upgrade,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then TPR wants to know, what Nintendo Switch game did you put down with a bad taste in your mouth and come back sometime later to love it? He says this recently happened with me and Breath of the Wild. Wow. I really enjoy playing
Yeah.
it almost every day now. Feels odd to say after 5 years of the game being around, but I'm glad. Wow, I'm glad that like you're finally going back to it. I'm surprised that
Hmm.
you didn't like Breath of the Wild and now you're coming back to it. I don't know. I don't know if I know I've had games like this. I'm trying to think on the Switch specifically. Do you have any,
Yeah.
Garrett?
Me too. I'm not sure if I
Okay.
have one specifically for the Switch. I would have to check back in my library and check. I remember I would get a game and it would just be a while before I even took a good stab at it. And
Yeah.
it wasn't really based off of like, oh, I don't like this game. It was more like I want to play this other game and I'll go back to this one.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm thinking Astral
Mhm.
Chain. Like it's not that I didn't like them in the beginning. It's just that something else distracted me, and then I decided to go back and go through the game. Um, and it's funny that TBR says bad taste in my mouth. I'm really trying to get through a Soulsborne game right now,
Oh,
and that is
not
literally the
Elden Ring.
definition. Not Elden Ring now. I'm trying to like get used to the motion and the mechanics of Dark Souls. So I'm going through Bloodborne a little bit right now. It's kicking me in the teeth. I'm
Mm.
restarting every time. It is a very bad taste in my mouth, but people say just don't give up. Just keep on going. After that first boss, you'll feel so great. And I'm like, I'm not feeling great right now. So I'll keep you guys in
Good
tune
luck with
to what
that.
my impressions are with Bloodborne.
Yikes. Yeah, I don't know if I have an answer for this because honestly, if a game doesn't click with me, I usually don't go back to it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it
Maybe I
makes sense for
should if he's
TPR.
going yeah, if he's going back to Breath of the Wild and really liking it, maybe I should give other games a chance.
What big game did you try and you just didn't care for on the Switch?
On the Switch,
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I'm like looking back. I'm looking at my backlog on
right.
the GG website. Um, Cuphead, I only put it down not because I didn't like it, because it was too hard for me and I couldn't keep going with it. I know that's not like a Switch exclusive game, but that's one that like I didn't end up continuing very far with. I would love to go back to it and play through the whole thing. I'm just not good at it.
Yeah.
We already talked about the Red Lantern and how heartbreaking of a game that was for me.
Yeah, it's not going to be good later.
It's not going to be good later.
I understand TPR's kind of experience though. Breath of the Wild is such a huge game, and like, of course, I think it does it takes some time to get used to if you're not a Zelda fan. To be honest with you, the pace is slow. It's very open, wide, and empty space. I like it. It's very exploratory, explorative like that. But it's kind of slow, and I'm glad TPR had the persistence to get through the game and enjoying it.
Okay, here's one game that I played on the Switch that I hope this happens to me someday. Maybe it's been about 5 years. Maybe it will just take a little bit more time. Skyrim, I had never played before it came out on the Switch, and I'm like, this will be a great chance to finally try this game. And I played it, and has nothing to do with like it being on the Switch itself, but I feel like Breath of the Wild ruined that for me, and any chance that I could have had to enjoy Skyrim, I should have tried it before Breath of the Wild, because it just didn't click with me. Maybe it's because I played it so soon after Breath of the Wild. I don't know. But it didn't click. I like ran around the world and I did stupid stuff, and I didn't do anything with the main story, which maybe that's the fun of Skyrim. I don't know, but
it is. Just don't do the main story. I mean, like you can later, but it's really like Breath of the Wild in a sense of you just go out and just do random things, go through your quests, go through your side quest. I love the attributes in the different things you can do, like sneaking and smithing and stuff like that. So it's very much more RPG than a Breath of the Wild open world.
I just didn't like how I couldn't climb everything like Link could.
That's the one squabble of Skyrim. It's like you cannot climb anywhere.
I want to enjoy it though. I want to go back to it someday. I know it's been out forever now, and there's better ways to play it, but maybe someday.
The Switch is a totally viable way to play it. By the way, it runs great. The quests are pretty good.
I had lots of glitches. I had lots of like game freezes. I had lots of issues. But I heard that's the Skyrim experience. I heard that's not like a Switch.
Okay. I think it may have gotten some patches or whatever, but it looks amazing on my OLED. Like,
does it? Okay. Oh, yeah. It looks. Maybe I'll go back to it with my OLED. Feeling inspired.
There you go.
Because the last thing I need is to play a huge like 60-hour game like Skyrim on my Switch right now.
Pretty much.
Triangle Strategy releases tomorrow. It's getting pretty good reviews, I think. Metacritic is sitting at an 83, OpenCritic's sitting at an 81, so low 80s. I think this is about what we expected for that game, right?
Yeah, following Team Asano's games, like Bravely Default 2 was a little bit lower, around the 70s. That one wasn't quite well received, but the others follow suit. Like Octopath Traveler was around the 80s. Bravely Default 1 was, I think, a little bit higher than that. This is about as expected. Now, if you look at the reviews, you see all really like a lot of 8s, 9s, and 10s. Not 10s, really. It's more like 9.5s.
I think Twinfinite gave it a 4 out of 5. Or a 4 out of 5? 4.4 out of 5?
Yeah, 4 out of 5, I think. I see two distinct journalists and like, this sucks, and it's like 5 out of 10. I'm like, okay.
What?
Like, yeah. Or like a 6 out of 10. I'm like, I mean, like, of course, it's their review.
Outliers like that. Yeah, I know. Outliers like that kind of, I don't know.
I watched like 3 minutes of Nintendo Life's review, and I have like 15 minutes or whatever. And I'm like, that is definitely Triangle Strategy. I'm stopping this review, going away.
You already know you'll like it.
Yeah, exactly. I will return to it. Guys, play the demo. It really does encapsulates everything about that game. So don't even go like pay $60 if you're not sure. Like, really just play the demo. And it's like 5 hours of demo. And that gets transfers over. So
Garrett, get the game tomorrow so you can talk to us about it next week.
I know Yarden keeps nagging me about it. I don't know if I can. I don't think I can right now. So
okay, you'll get it.
I'm sorry.
Though.
I'll get it. I'll get it later this year. How about that?
All right, let's close off the show with Kyle the Pug wants to know what indie game or games have been the most fun for you in the past couple of months? What indie have you been playing recently to expand your love of the indie games? He talks about two that he played recently. He talks about Ocean's Heart, which I really want to play. Looks a little bit Zelda-like. And Death's Door, which I started and need to go back to. I really liked what I played with that so far. I have a few indie games that are sitting on my, on my Switch right now. I have Alba, which was gifted to me. I have Chicory, which I have been meaning to play. I need to get back to Death's Door. I need to finish Eastward, which was also gifted to me. I need to finish Deltarune Chapter 2. I have a lot of indies sitting here that I need to get out of this slump and just play. I think it's hard. It's hard for me when I've been in a little bit of a gaming slump to pick it up and start playing. But once I do, I get back into it. So I need to get out of it. I need to get out of the slump and play my indies. I'm on such a slow start this year. It's March and I've barely played any games so far.
Right. Hey,
I've played games, but I haven't finished games so far.
Right. I mean, everyone has that feeling too. Sometimes I just get in the slump and I just don't want to. I just want to watch other things or play other things. I don't care. But yeah, as far as indies, I got Crosscode. I got Buck Fables. I need to get through. I got Banner Saga and Slay the Spire. Those are the most recent stuff on my Switch. I need to get to. And then I've also been playing a little bit of Death's Door on PC. I have it on Steam. Last time I played it was in January, and it's fun. It's fine. I don't think that game's meant for me. I just think it's a very solid. What do you call it? It's a third person action adventure type of game. Yeah, puzzler. I don't know what you want to call it. But yeah, those were the recent indies I've been kind of eyeing on. I definitely need. After I'm done with Legends Arceus, though, it's I have a bunch of big games to go through. I got SMT5 to get back to. I got a bunch of big JRPGs I want to get through before the end. I actually want to go through Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Actually, that's one I kind of stabbed in for 20 hours and I kind of stopped. And I feel like I need to restart it. And that might be my feeling with TPR's question is going into it, feel bad. All right, let me try it one more time because I'm a sucker. I don't know. I like this JRPG stuff. I get in a mood for them, and then once
it's your thing. I get it.
I distract with other stuff. I don't know, kind of drop it sometimes. So yeah,
I think this is a pretty strong time for indie games. There's a lot of really good stuff that's recently come out. There's a lot of cool indie games that are coming out this year. I want to try to lean into that a little bit more because oftentimes these games are fairly short, which is something I value at times like this.
Pretty much.
So I'm going to try to lean into that more and get myself together and play more indies and hopefully report back. And maybe that's what I'll do, because I'm not going to be playing Zelda 2 all the time. That's my stream game. But maybe I'll play some more off stream, and that will take me to Kirby and Chrono Cross in April.
Oh yeah, and you just lay on the bed with your Switch and just pick a game and just go for it. For
Dangerous.
30 minutes.
I used to lay in bed and play games, but nowadays it's I lay in bed and I have every intention to play a game, and then I fall asleep.
And then you fall asleep.
I am a very, very tired person these days.
Yeah, working definitely hit you hard. Yeah, during the day. I understand.
Can I just say real quick? They told me 5 minutes today at 11:50. They said, "Oh yeah, did anyone tell you that at noon you're covering library classes for the rest of the day?" I was like,
"What?
I didn't eat dinner. I didn't eat lunch yet. When were you guys gonna tell me this?" And they're like, "Oh, sorry. I thought somebody was gonna tell you." So I had a lesson scheduled that I had to cancel. I had lunch bunches. I had my own lunch that I had to eat that I had to scarf down.
And no one told you. Wow.
Very upset about that.
Oh, that's rough. I'm sorry.
Woe is me.
Woe is you.
The day in the life of Rebecca Forrest Minish. But
and that's why you're tired.
I'm tired. That's why I took a
just
nap
drink more coffee. That's all I say.
I did. I chugged a coffee right before the show, and it was glorious.
Good.
I'm going to play more games so I have more games to talk about next week. That's my mission.
That's your goal. Sounds good. And I will finish Legends Arceus and go back to SMT5. I want to finish
good.
that one too. Yeah.
All right, Koopalings, thank you for listening. Thank you for spending some time listening to us, putting all of the stress and fears and stuff that's going on and putting that aside for an hour and a half each week to listen to us. We really appreciate it. It helps us. Hopefully it helps you. And we will see you next week. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.